Hey, it's Nix, and I'm back to discuss more of the Curseforge and Sims 4 partnership. If you haven't watched the previous video, I suggest you go to watch it to know all the good things that can come from this partnership. But wait, before you go, it doesn't matter which order you watch in, so watch this one first. Because today we are going to be talking about all the worrying things that can arise from this partnership. So we're going to jump right in with one of the top concerns that I've been seeing, and that is how restrictive the types of mods and CC that will be allowed on Curseforge is. So let's start by going to the mods and CC guidelines listed on Curseforge. All right, so here you can see this is a Curseforge support page, and specifically it's the moderation guidelines for The Sims 4. You can list your complaints or the problems that you had to get support here. Also, you'll see that the moderation policies and all the other guidelines. If you notice, The Sims 4 is the only one with its own guidelines. Like if you go to their general moderation policy page, you will see that The Sims 4 is the only one with their own guidelines in the whole thing. So this is a official like collaboration with EA. EA does have their name on this, and that is why that EA is very restrictive as to what the general guidelines are going to be for this. You know, they want to maintain their friendly relations with other brands, and they also want to make sure that they don't get lawsuits of any sort. So yeah, that's why they're restrictive, and we'll go over what exactly will be prohibited from the Forge library and how it can potentially lead to other problems with mods and CC in the future for The Sims 4. All right, so this here is just basically explaining EA's general guidelines, what their rating is, how that affects, you know, the guidelines for their moderation. And then as you scroll down, you'll see more, you know, again, more guidelines. And then you finally get to the actual moderation of the mods and CC as it relates to Curseforge. So the first thing that they talk about is there will be no violence allowed as far as mods and CC. Basically, it has to be lightly implied if they have any violence, and fights can only be shown behind those stupid cartoon clouds. You can't have any weapons, gore of any kind, or anything that is listed here. You can't have any of this lovely things there, which is a problem because a lot of simmers like to play with sacrificials mods. As you know, a lot of sacrificials mods can be pretty violent and gory, which is good when you really want to change up the gameplay and add to your story, but they aren't allowing mods like this because there's a lot of different mods that we like to add that, you know, make our Sims gameplay much more interesting. And this is really a problem because it will have a negative impact on our storytelling and gameplay. As of now, I believe EA has stated that they will not force modders or CC creators to move to Curseforge, but there are some concerns about this possibility, and we'll discuss more about that later. All right, so the next part is there's like no nudity, sexual content, understandably no inappropriate relationships. So we can understand why they have stated that. But my favorite is this line here. Sims do not have sex. They woohoo or try for baby. Yeah. So anything that is related to any kind of sexual content at all, understandably, we know that they will not be allowing that because, again, EA name is on this. But if you like Wicked Whims, do not expect to see that in this library because it will not be allowed. You know, EA has never really generally taken a stance on Wicked Whims, as they know a lot of simmers use it, but they have kind of generally stated that they don't approve it. So we shouldn't be surprised that it's not allowed on something official. And that may be a problem because many of the pregnancy mods may not be allowed here, depending on how strict they are about these guidelines as far as what they consider to be sexual content. We'll just have to see about that though, or if the creators just have to change a few terms to make it Forge approved. But the next two lines is understandable why they aren't allowed. So if you like to have kissing cousins or some other questionable relationships in your game, yeah, that's definitely not allowed, nor are any consensual actions allowed. Again, super understandable by the parts of EA and Forge. So yeah, you can't have any of this and you can't have that. So again, understandable why those might not be allowed. Next line kind of a problem. So this one basically says that your Sims can't have any adult beverages. They can't smoke anything of any kind, or have and or wear anything related to drug use. So that means if you want your Sim to have anything a little harder than a fruit juice, you won't find a mod for that here. You want your Sim to emblazon your shared love of your leafy friend on a shirt? Yeah, that's not welcome here either. And I found it a little weird because the bubble blower is basically hookah or vaping, and they aren't allowing any mods for vaping either. So like, why? I mean, you already got some of this stuff in the game, so why even prevent people from having that in the game? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the point of preventing people from having that? Also, they don't want any mods that simulate the effect of drugs. But I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure many potions give you similar, or rather, it implies similar effects. So yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a potion that causes nausea, and a potion that causes you to be happy, a potion that causes all kind of crazy stuff. So yeah, like, that's weird because that's similar effects to what drugs can do as far as like manipulating your mental and emotional state. But anyway, now I don't know about you, but when I want my Sims to drink, they should be able to drink. I get that they don't want to be associated with use of any of these items, but I still feel like these types of mods should be available. But as of now, we'll still be able to have them outside of Curseforge. Thank goodness. So this next part, I feel like it can be a potential problem in the future. And here's what it says. Mods must not contain content representing real world figures, societal conflicts, cultural conflicts, or politics. That's pretty vague, but they'll delve into it a little more as we go through this. This part here just says no references of real people or political figures, which is weird because I can type any celebrity's name into the Sims 4 gallery and get hundreds of Sims that's modeled after them. But they are really referencing mostly political figures more than celebrity figures here on this one. There's another part where they reference celebrity figures. But anyway, we're gonna leave that alone. This next part, they basically like, hey, if you have any religion or religious symbols in the game or anything about any actual world histories, you cannot be discriminatory or derogatory towards them or have any derogatory symbols against certain religious groups or people, which is understandable. I get why they don't want that in the game. Just be respectful. That's all you got to do. Be respectful of people, cultures, and religions. That's it. Representation of wars or universal conflicts. So that, you know, basically anything related to real world life that might cause problems for people. But then this last part here is the big problem here. Representation of political preferences, positions, ideologies, or any other political or socio-political conflicts are prohibited. So something like this can be a real problem because I don't know about you, but to me, this leaves a lot of room for interpretation. And as you may know, a lot of the Sims community is a part of some marginalized community in real life. And people want CC and mods that represent them in game. And because so many things are a part of a political discussion these days, that pretty much anything can be interpreted as making some kind of political or social political stance, including just wearing a pride flag or a Black Lives Matter shirt. So I'm like, I feel like they will probably have to reword this part a bit because I feel like it can cause problems in the future for a lot of the community as far as being able to represent themselves and things like that. But I don't know. I feel like most of the people that plays The Sims are pretty chill. I hope. Look, I hope. So hopefully there won't be any problems with that. But we'll see. Look, we will see how that works out. But, you know, there's those crazy people out there that we know that tends to make everything a problem. So, again, we'll see how that works out. Now, this one here is another one that really bothers me because basically it's just saying that your Sim cannot be shown performing any illegal activities or a deviant lifestyle. Now, this is stupid because there are evil Sims in the game and they have a criminal career path. Heck, they even allow Sims to steal from other Sims. I mean, they call it swiping in the game, but I mean, it's just stealing. So it's already in the game. This doesn't make any sense. And what are evil Sims supposed to be doing anyway? Are they just supposed to twirl a mustache and laugh maniacally and that's it? No, that's incredibly boring. Most of the time, vanilla gameplay for criminals and evil Sims is boring for the Sims unless you spice it up with a little bit of with a few mods. So yes, I like to make my evil Sims more interesting, and I want my criminal to be able to do more than just wipe an object. And I think it's crazy that they won't allow mods that just enhance the game. One mod that particularly come into mind for me is Carl's mods, even though most of his mods are free, but I think he does do early access. But you know, there's one mod that has a burglar in there. Would that not be allowed on the gallery because it has a burglar in the game? Like, you know, you can be a burglar in that mod. And that's another really popular mod that may potentially be excluded from the Sims 4 Curseforge library because it has an element that is not particularly welcomed in this library. All right, so this last paragraph here is just saying that no CC with real brands, logos, or properties will be allowed into the library. So if you like your Sim to be wearing Gucci, Balenciagas, some Fenty, yeah, all that stuff, you'll have to look elsewhere. You want some Apple Jacks, Mac computers, IKEA, or something else in your game? Yeah, it's not allowed. Apparently, you can't have places like the Eiffel Tower, Big Ben, or the Taj Mahal either. I'm not sure about that one. Maybe they mean more corporate buildings. Again, I'm not really sure, but they're saying that new real world locations, buildings, or landmarks are allowed. So we'll see exactly what they mean about that. And then this last bit just basically says, don't steal people music, don't steal people art, don't steal people literature, things like that. I guess they're like, don't create CC or something that's related to real world people. So I guess, like, you know how most of us, so like some mod or CC creators tend to like take people's faces and make a face mask out of it. So maybe they're not allowing that. I have no idea, because those face masks don't really look like those people until you put it on your Sim and make it look like something. So we'll see how restrictive they are on things like that. All right, so the rest of these items down here are just policies that EA already has on their policy page as regarding mods. The one that really concerns me though is this one here again. Mods must be made available to all users for free. Mods cannot be sold, licensed, or rented for a fee, nor can mods contain features that would support monetary transactions of any type. Again, this is on EA's policy page. So if we go over to EA's policy page, it is there. It's the second thing, but it has a caveat of adding early access. This does not have that caveat of early access. And I'm concerned EA could get rid of early access in general, but this here could just be related to mods on Curseforge. Of course, Curseforge mods should be free. That's how they presented it. But it'll be a huge problem if they get rid of early access overall, because a lot of these modders do spend a lot of time making all these mods and CC for The Sims 4. I do feel like they should be able to at least have a chance to recuperate some of that money back in early access form, or, you know, some form. I know Curseforge has a way available, but that's not, I'm sure that you would not be able to make very much compared to how much you make from having people actually donate to you. So if EA updates their policy to not allow any monetization like they were attempting to do a few months ago, then that's going to be a huge problem for the community, because as we were going through these guidelines, many types of CC and mods will not be allowed. Look, personally, I like Sims like This Is Them. Are skins not allowed because they can be considered nudity? What about other modders and creators that allow you to have a fully functioning Starbucks or Popeyes in the game? Can they not monetize because they have brands in their CC? Because the items would not be welcome according to these guidelines, and if they aren't allowed to have early access, how would they recuperate the time spent making The Sims 4 better or functional? Because let's be honest, if a lot of these creators don't feel like it's worth it, they will not continue to make stuff for this game. And that's understandable, because they honestly do make these games better. You know, a lot of the CC does improve, you know, your gameplay and, you know, your creativity when it comes to this game. A lot of mods just fix a lot of bugs and problems that this game has already. So yeah, and most importantly, a lot of us will not play the game without mods or CC. Heck, most of us take breaks from the game because it becomes boring after a while, or it's just so broken, we just get so frustrated and just put the game down for a little while. But I'm not sure if EA is hoping to gain more modders and CC creators through this program, but they may lose a lot of quality ones for now if they don't allow early access. So my concern, in short, is that they will try to force modders to Curseforge. If they're a bigger modder or CC creator, they may not want to move to Forge because it may not be worth it for them. And depending on what they create, they may not even be allowed on Forge. And that'll be unfortunate for the community if that's the case. Again, this may not be a thing that they're trying to do. It's just a concern because, you know, of what they said here. Again, this could just only be related to mods and CC2 Curseforge, which would make sense. The problem comes if they change their policy in general and say that they are not allowed to have early access. But we will see as far as what their future plans are regarding this. Now, another concern I've seen expressed quite a bit is that EA will try to make a mod store. I personally don't believe that they would do this with Sims 4, at least not through Curseforge. Curseforge seems pretty proud to not charge for mods, and I don't think they would do this with EA. Now, I'm not saying EA may not try to do this in the future with like Sims 5 or something, especially if they feel like this has gone really well. They may try to come up with a similar system to like Minecraft, where console players can get like special items from a store, like loading screens or cast backgrounds or anything that consoles can actually handle. But I doubt consoles will ever get full mods as it is now, and I don't think that EA would try to do a mod store with The Sims 4. Again, like I said, maybe in the future with Sims 5, we don't know. But if they did decide to do something similar to like Minecraft, at least console players would have the option to get a few special items that they can have added to their game. But that really should just be things that should be available in a part of the game, in all honesty. If it doesn't really add anything really special to the game. But overall, I just really don't think that we have to worry about a mod store right now. Alrighty, so let's get to some other questions I have about how this will work. So first one is like, will the mod manager work for mods that are not available in Forge? Because we all know that a lot of these mods will not be available for Curseforge. But even if they aren't available in Curseforge, will I be able to update them from there? Will I still be able to delete them from there? Will I be able to disable them from there? I highly doubt that they will provide support for auto updates for it. But, you know, even if I can't auto update, at least if I can like at least get to the sites updated from there and I can just click on a button and update it, that would be nice. I highly doubt that would be an option, but, you know, we never know. But we'll see how that works. But like I said, I don't think that'll be an option, and we'll probably just have to go and manually update all our mods for all the ones that are not available in the Forge library. So we'll see. But another question I have is, will we be able to upload save files? You know, there are a lot of games where you can upload your save file, your save world. So that'd be really cool if you can upload your save world, because, you know, a lot of people have files where they have redone all the houses and all the worlds and stuff. And that'd be really cool to be able to just be able to download that from one place instead of having to go all over the internet to find save world files to get our nice houses and stuff that's already built for us. And I have to sit there and manually change all of them out by trying to find freaking houses on the gallery. That'd be really awesome if we can just find it all in one place. And for people that use a multiplayer mod, they can just all download the same world from Curseforge library. That'd be really cool. Another question, will we be able to upload our CC clad Sims and homes into the Forge library? So I know a lot of CC creators probably would not be happy if we were allowed to do something like that, because they were like, hey, you can't re-upload my things. But technically, I believe EA owns the patent to a .package file. And even though I know some of these creators do create their stuff from scratch, create their mesh from scratch, I'm pretty sure they only own the .obj or whatever version of it that they had before they converted it to a .package file. So once you convert it to that .package file, I'm pretty sure that technically you can't really sell it because it is still EA's intellectual property. And, you know, EA might give people the access to be able to just upload whole homes and Sims onto this library so people can download them with all the stuff, with all the CC attached to it. I mean, again, people are already doing that anyway. So, you know, that just is what it is. But it would just be a nice hub for people that just want to be able to download a complete Sim or home without having to go and click on a million links to get to it. Again, for CC creators, not the greatest in the world. They'll be highly upset. Or maybe it can like auto link to all the CC that's already in the Curseforge library. But I can see how a lot of things like that could go wrong. So I highly doubt they will allow people to do that. Or if you do, you have to use CC from the that's already in the library or something like that. Like, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be some kind of limitation so that way they can make sure it's things that they have moderated or something. So, you know, we will just see how all these things kind of play out, how they implement this, because this is new for them. This is a lot that they have to try to implement for this, because The Sims has a lot of different little avenues and things that are used to enhance the game, from loading screens to cast backgrounds to all these little things that people put in their game. Like I said, whole save files, things and that. These are all little things that they have available for them in The Sims, and it's going to be interesting to see how, you know, Curseforge take on this community with all these many modders and CC creators and all that stuff, because there's a lot of people that create for The Sims 4. But that's pretty much all my thoughts I have on it. I think if they can do all the stuff that they claim and they're able to do, and if they work on the questions that, you know, I brought up, I think this would actually be really great for the Sims 4 community. I don't think there's be too many negatives unless they prevent people from uploading to other places. But I know that was a lot, because it really was a lot. I am tired of hearing myself talk, but let's just go ahead and do a quick recap of all the concerns mentioned. So first one is just the many restrictions on types of mods and CC that will not be allowed in the Curseforge library for Sims 4. A concern that they will try to force modders to Curseforge and possibly get rid of early access. And then the last concern was mostly that they would try to have a possible mod store. I feel like that's some of the big concerns that most people have mentioned. I will link this mod and CC guidelines in the description so that you can review them on your own. I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch this. And let me know, is there anything that stood out as super concerning for you? What are some other concerns that you have? And what would you like to see them add? Don't forget to hit the like button if you like this video, and subscribe to support the channel. I thank you all for being here, and take care of yourself until next time. Bye.